Message from your galactic family. We, your galactic family, are joyous to inform you that you, the ascending ones of humanity, as well as Mother Gaia's planetary body, are moving into a higher dimensional, and thus more challenging, energy field. This energy field contains many higher fourth-dimensional, delta waves, which are the predecessors of the fifth-dimensional, gamma waves. These energy waves are arriving in Gaia's atmosphere from far beyond the planet, beyond your solar system, and even beyond this galaxy. These interdimensional waves of light are also multidimensional. These waves of light will come into your reality much like ocean waves come onto the shore. There are sets of the highest frequency gamma waves, followed by sets of lower frequency delta waves. The slightly lower frequency delta waves give you an opportunity to adapt to the higher frequency gamma waves. The delta waves give the receptive ones, which are those who are ready to accept a higher frequency of reality into their body, a chance to adapt to the extremely high frequency gamma waves. The delta frequency waves resonate to what those on Earth might call the fourth dimension, whereas the gamma frequency waves resonate to the fifth dimension and beyond. We say fifth dimension and beyond, because once one resonates to the fifth dimension, they are no longer limited to the concepts and beliefs of the physical world. Free of those concepts of limitation and being good enough, will allow humanity to function with a greater sense of community with each other and with their planet Gaia. All the other beings on Gaia experience a sense of community with Gaia. Thus they do not question nature. In fact, all non-human members of Gaia, naturally and innately flow with the cycles of Gaia. When humanity can accept the lessons that the animal kingdom is teaching, they will remember that nature includes them. Then, humanity will not try to change nature, dominate nature, or avoid nature. Then humanity will realize that nature is the reality in which they have logged onto. Of course, animals do not realize that they have logged into a specific frequency of reality because they are not separate from that reality in any manner. On the other hand, modern man has developed the belief that not only is humanity separate from Gaia, but they have developed the belief that they are dominant over Gaia. It is because of this belief that Gaia has been damaged almost to the edge of not being able to repair her. Fortunately, more and more of humanity are awakening to the fact that Gaia is a living being. The reason why humans could be so cruel and destructive to their Mother Earth was because they believed that Earth was just a thing. Humanity is the only kingdom that believes this myth, which was created by the lost ones who moved from planet to planet. These lost ones were more like renters than owners of their environment. Therefore, they could visit, leave a mess, not clean up the mess, and then move on. This type of behavior is coming to a close because more and more human residents of Earth are remembering that Gaia is a living being. Therefore, just as they love their human family, they are remembering to love their planetary family. It is this form of planetary love that accelerates the consciousness of humanity into the threshold of the fifth dimension. The threshold of the fifth dimension is not a place. The threshold to the fifth dimension is a frequency. Living in a third-dimensional reality made it possible for humans to look deeply into only one possible reality. Within your fifth-dimensional self, there are many possible realities, but there are no roadmaps or guidelines. In the fifth dimension, there is only here and now. Many of you have been trying to understand the concept of a fifth-dimensional here and now, because your third-dimensional life is directed by your past, present, and future. However, in the fifth dimension, now just is. The fifth-dimensional now is a collective reality in which individuality is your core, which is connected to the core of all life. You are individuals, meaning all of you have your own body, but you are simultaneously united into one. Also, one is not a number such as 1, 2, 3. Being one is a state of consciousness, a fifth-dimensional state of consciousness. While you are in this fifth-dimensional consciousness of reality, you are all one. It can be difficult for one who has forgotten their fifth-dimensional and beyond expressions of self, to understand that the fifth-dimensional one means unity with all, whereas the third-dimensional one means a singular being, a standalone. The transition from the third fourth dimensional one, singular person in search of self, into the fifth dimensional one, we are all one, can be difficult to describe. When humans think of the term one, you often think of one singular, specific person, disconnected from anyone else. But, in the fifth dimension and beyond, the one includes all that is. Being one is a reminder that you are intertwined with all life. Every molecule outside of you is actually one with every other molecule in your body. Your body is a cooperative. If any part of your body stops interacting efficiently with the rest of your body, then you become sick. When all of the elementals, organs, thoughts, and emotions efficiently interact with your one human energy field, you are in robust health. But many of you do not think of your body as a collective. You also do not think of your reality as a collective. You may even ask, what is a collective? For the purpose of this message, the collective means shared, cooperative, communal, joint, united, mutual, and/or group. When you are one with your higher dimensional, telepathic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient self, you remember how to share your thoughts and feeling with each other in the same manner that your thoughts and feelings intermingle into your one, physical body. When your human thoughts and feelings remain one with the thoughts and feelings of your higher dimensional self, these messages easily intertwine with your physical body. It is through the process of expanding your consciousness up into your higher self that you will remember how to create messages that interacts and becomes one with your body, as well as one with the body of the receiver of that message. You are aware that your thoughts greatly affect your emotions, as well as your body. You may even tend to think of your thoughts as something in your brain that may or may not have any effect on your body. However, your human research has proven how your thoughts and emotions greatly affect your body. In fact, your thoughts affect your emotions affect your thoughts, and your thoughts and emotions greatly affect your body, and your body affects your thoughts and emotions. Therefore, your thoughts and emotions are one with your body. As you realize how your body is one with your every thought and emotion, you may begin to question how your body affects other people's bodies. How does the one collective of your personal body affect the one collective of another person's body? As you become aware of how your thoughts, emotions, and physical body influences others, your concept of one begins to expand. If your body is one collective being that influences the one collective being of another, are you and that other person one? In the fifth dimension, the answer is yes. But in the fourth dimension, the answer is maybe, and in the third dimension the answer is no. Does a fifth-dimensional reality have the concept of another, separate person, or do fifth-dimensional beings have such a collective consciousness that they perceive everyone as one? The members' primitive societies have a level of oneness with their tribe, group, culture, that the advanced societies lost long ago in their search of their individual success. Sometimes that individual success created thoughts, creations, and technology from which everyone could benefit. But, what if one of those people did not have the money to purchase that invention? Would someone else give it to them? There are only a few who are at the top of the third-dimensional financial world, and how many of them share? What if you had a primitive, tribal community in which everyone lined up on the beach when the fishermen came in, and everyone, including the fishermen, got the same amount of fish? There are primitive societies that do just that. So are they primitive because they all share, or is the advanced world primitive because they don't share? You all want to just wake up to a fifth-dimensional reality, but how will you know that it is fifth-dimensional if you have not forged your own way to be fifth-dimensional yourself? If you did not go through your process of becoming one with yourself, it would be like going to sleep as a child and waking up the next morning as a fully educated, wise and loving adult. Therefore, if you flash into your fifth-dimensional light body, are your thoughts and emotions also instantly transmuted? Or, are you like infants who will need to be taken care of until you adapt, or will you instantly be one with the higher beings? There are so many questions that the ascending ones will ask, such as, do we need to take a being fifth dimensional class? Who would teach that class? Would the teacher need to be a fifth dimensional being? Would you be able to trust a fifth dimensional being? And, how would you be able to perceive a fifth dimensional being? Can you perceive what you cannot conceive? Can you stretch your conceptions into the unknown and have the courage to stay the course? Some can, and some do. These people are the way showers, the pioneers, who are willing to forge a way into the unknown, then return to tell the others what they have discovered. The ones who show the way are very brave, but it often takes even more courage to come back and tell the others. When people get information that they cannot understand, they often become very frightened and angry. Then they become hostile and turn against the way shower, who was trying to share their adventure. Hence, the humans of Earth are dividing into those who want to know about fifth-dimensional reality, and those who are resistant to change. Those that are resistant to change can become very angry because they are being informed of a change that frightens them. They are frightened because they cannot go into their memory, or thinking, or emotions, to find any reason why they should believe such a silly concept as having reality resonate to a higher frequency. These people likely have no conception about frequencies of reality. Therefore, what will happen if a fleet of starships suddenly arrives in the sky? Will the people with no concept of a higher dimensional reality run for their guns because they are being invaded? Or will they peacefully look up into the sky and welcome their higher dimensional family? Yes, those with whom the Galactics are already communicating will definitely welcome our arrival, but what percentage of the uninformed, or non-believers, will be able to accept that we are fifth-dimensional beings? However, if those who believe in, and have personally experienced communications with fifth-dimensional beings, shared their experience with others, the many could work as one to welcome the transition into the immense reality beyond the confines of third-dimensional Earth. If more people realized that they are not alone, and that their own higher dimensional expressions of their own multi-dimensional self serves on these ships, their concept of one would definitely shift. If you knew that you were one person on Earth wearing a 3D Earth vessel, as well as one person serving on an intergalactic starship, your concept of one would take on an expanded meaning. If your human Earth body is a living vessel that you wear while incarnating on third-dimensional Earth, while you are, simultaneously, wearing an Arcturian, Pleiadian, Antarian, Andromedan vessel in the higher dimensions, then you will search to find the definition of being one. If you are one with a galactic being, you can more easily conceive yourselves as being one with the planetary being of Earth. There are many beings that humanity has not experienced because your perception was limited to the third-dimensional version of reality. The third dimension is much like kindergarten, where you first learn to socialize with other physical people. Then, in the fourth dimension, you begin to socialize with other astral people. Eventually, as you return to yourself in the fifth dimension, you begin your socialization with galactic people. When you were children, many of you communicated with your invisible friends. Then you grew up, and many of you stopped communicating with those friends because your adult self told your child self that you were talking to their self. However, what if your adult self finally grew up, in consciousness, and you realized that the higher being that suddenly came into your life was the very same invisible friend that you had as a child? The only difference was that your child saw these friends through their childhood imagination, because to children, imagination is real. Then many of you grew up, and imagination was not real. Fortunately, more and more of you finally remembered that 3D imagination is actually 5D reality. It is then that your imagination became the passageway into the higher dimensions of reality. As more and more adults remember what they always knew, but forgot, they will return to their own multidimensional self. Within this multidimensional self, they finally remember that one means one, with all life on all planes and dimensions. Most important, once you remember that you are one, you are never alone. For one thing, we, your galactic family, are with you always. Within your now, we remind you that you, we, are one. Your galactic family, Channeled by Suzanne Lee. SuzanneLeePhD.blogspot.com